Ha, ha. 1, 2, 3, let's get it. That's all. You're not fucking with me. Yeah, sounds dope. To be continued.
I have always found Mac Miller's music to be beautiful. Mac Miller for me has some of the best tracks I have ever heard and will ever hear in a song. Yeah, I love Mac Miller's music. It always brings me this sense of calm and to not worry over anything, because worrying won't help you. In this video I want to talk a bit about one of Mac Miller's last albums, Swimming, which to me is one of my favorite albums of all time. Now of course, right from the start we can see the symbolism in the album's name. Swimming is a metaphor for finding peace in your life, to feel alive and free of any of your problems. At this point, Mac Miller was going through a lot and found it hard to be at peace. But from the start of this album to the end of it, we can see the shift in his mentality, and we start seeing Mac Miller coming to terms with his problems. So let's start with the first track, Come Back to Earth. Right from the start, we can see that Mac Miller has a lot of regrets on his mind. Already we can see that Mac Miller is not in a good mindset at the start of the album. We can also see from the way he delivers his lines that he seems tired, almost like he has given up. A few lines later he also says that he just needs a way out of his head, and that he'd do anything for a way out of it. He says he was drowning but now he feels like he's swimming. Though he says this, I don't feel Mac Miller is swimming yet, as we will see from a few tracks after this one. But the important thing to take away from this line is that Mac Miller feels like he is swimming. He later also talks about keeping secrets, and that though it's nice outside, it doesn't really feel like that for him. And as the lines repeat themselves for a second time, it gives almost a feeling like you now have a greater understanding of what he's talking about. Now you know why he has regrets, and now you feel his loneliness. In the next track of the album, Mac Miller talks about how he's changed even though he says he can't. He also says that everything feels different from how it once was for him. He says he has gotten into a lot of things on his journey to where he is now. He says he has missed all of the signs given to him, probably referring to his drug addiction. It feels for him like people put too much pressure on him, and that only makes him do worse decisions. He also says he feels like he always wants more, like everything is not enough for him. After the chorus, Mac says he gives 150% of himself, and that it made him feel depressed. The line that caught me the most attention on this song was the line,
I be going through it, you just go around it, but it's really not that different when you think about it.
This line to me means that Mac, instead of facing his problems, is just going around them, not trying to come to terms with them. And that is why I feel like he isn't swimming yet. He's still running away and he's still afraid. In Perfecto, Mac starts by saying, it ain't perfect but I don't mind, because it's worth it. This is referring to his addiction again and how people think he looks fine, but in reality, he's bugging, making something out of nothing. At 2 minutes and 48 seconds into the song, we get a beat switch. These are my favorite parts of Swimming. It has more focus on the line Mac is saying, and they hit hard. In this part of the song, Mac talks about someone who's seen everything he's been going through. From the lines he says, we can assume that the person he's with wants him to stop doing drugs, and he tells us she puts him back in order. He then says that she's perfect, but the sad thing is, she's not around anymore. The next song, Self-Care, is one of the only songs in this album with an actual music video. Now I'm not gonna talk about the music video too much, but just know that it has the phrase Memento Mori, which translates to remember, you must die. This line has a lot of meaning to Mac, as he feels like he can die any second now. In this song, Mac Miller feels kind of lost. A couple of lines into the song, Mac says that when he fails, the medicine will be on call. It just feels like Mac is in his worst mindset and all he needs is a bit of self-care. He needs to focus on himself. We can also see that he isn't doing too well with not being with someone anymore. Even though he says all of this, he still says that it will be alright. Mac says that now that he's been reading the signs, it's made him lose his mind. He needs somebody to save him, and after he finishes his chorus one last time, we get the second part of the song. This part of the song is really beautiful. It's kind of like Mac has realized what he's done wrong and what he has to do. He has reached the point of realization. He now says that he has all of the time in the world instead of constantly thinking about death, and he feels like everything is beautiful. We start this song on his worst mindset, but somehow, we end on his most beautiful one. The first line of the next track is like a turnaround point for the album. Mac says that he has a bone to pick like roses. This line means that he has understood all he has done wrong and all he has to do to atone, and he is gonna start working on himself from now on. He has stopped focusing on the bad and started to focus on all of the good around him. He says that he never felt this good before. He's reached a point where he's happy with himself. He's trying to get back to doing the things he loved to do. He says he no longer needs someone with him to be happy, he only wants what he needs. Mac starts off the next song, Letters, saying life will have its ups and downs, but you can't stop it, so you just gotta move forward with your life. You have to keep pushing. Now this is when I think Mac Miller actually starts to swim, so to speak, with his line, I'm swimming a bit but deeper in thought. This song is a lot happier than most of the songs on the album, and it really puts a smile on my face hearing Mac Miller talk about how he is in the best phase he's ever been in his life. This song doesn't really have too much more meaning other than Mac enjoying his life, so why not enjoy this song too? In Small Worlds, Mac starts by saying that the world's small till it just isn't, meaning that you can feel like you're surrounded by people who love you, and then they're all just gone in an instant. Mac quickly discards this thought though, saying that he is building up a wall until it breaks. He isn't gonna let those thoughts get to him. Later he says that people always want what they can't get, and that it's pointless. He also says he doesn't need anything but today as he is focusing on the present more now. He has started to enjoy things at his own speed, and he doesn't care if people judge him. The ending of this song is another beat switch. This time Mac talks about how he needs to hold on to his good mentality. He feels like all of the negativity is coming back, but he manages to hold on for now. He's gonna continue living his life day by day. In Conversation Part 1, we can already see that whoever Mac is speaking to won't speak back, seeing as there is no Part 2 on this album. He talks about how he hates that people don't like how he's doing good nowadays. He says that he has started from nothing and now he's at his peak. He says that whoever he's talking to, that their life is basic and they don't do anything. Mac feels like people judge him too much and that it isn't fair when they don't do anything themselves. He says that people just shouldn't talk about something they don't get, or as he says, it isn't your money until you make it. In his next song, Mac Miller talks about the issues in his current relationship. You can feel they are in the verge of breaking up, but feels like it's going to be okay. He feels that they will end on good terms still. The intro of Jet Fuel is a sample from Cuddy Ranks, slowed down to give a more laid-back feel to it. In this song, Mac talks about how he's with his head underwater again, meaning he's been having problems with his addiction. He says that no one should worry about him because he'll be okay. He also says that he's gonna be here longer than he expected, as they keep rescuing him from his addiction. He says that he doesn't need anybody. Mac ends the song back into his addiction and saying that his fate is now in its hands. In 2009, Mac talks about his past and about how good it was before. He wishes he took a simpler route instead of the future he got. Mac feels happy thinking about his past. He's happy about the old days where he was happier than he ever was and finally getting success with his music. And then we have the final song of Swimming. So it goes. Mac starts by saying that you can have everything you want in life and just lose it, and that everyone wants to take it away from you. But then he says that there was really nothing to steal from him, as all he had was dreams. Dreams of a better life, and dreams of being remembered. Mac says that he's been inside a lot and compares it to him studying, as he has been working on his career and what he should do. He compares drugs to narcissism, as it is selfish to ruin your life as your loved one worries about you. After that line, Mac says to everyone that it's okay because he's still standing and that he's okay now, no longer doing drugs. He says that like a circle, he goes back where he comes from, which is a reference to his next album, Circles. He then repeats the chorus as an instrumental outro plays, resembling the ascension into heaven, symbolizing Mac Miller finally swimming. He feels that he's going to be okay and that there's nothing to worry about. And that is Swimming by Mac Miller.
Life is good though. I want y'all to see that life is great. Your life is great too. Have a good time, man. Have some fun. Having fun is okay. Get some love in your life, whether that be another person or just loving yourself, man. Love is good. Spread love. Spread love. I'm out of here. I'll be back soon.
I really enjoyed this album and I find it one of the greatest of all time. Mac Miller did have one more posthumous album after this one called Circles, so depending on how this video does, I may do a video on that as well. If you enjoyed this video, I really appreciate if you supported me by subscribing and liking the video. It really helps a lot. And with that said, I'll see you all in the next one.
Tears falling down at the party, saddest little baby in the room. Fears, tell me fears, don't get me started. I get a little gray hair for every scare you share.